And welcome back to the show. If you were a child in the late 50s or 60s, or you watched the movie Grease, you remember the iconic drive-in movie theater. They were commonplace all over America. Now, not so much, as we love a temperature-controlled roof over our heads, recliner chairs, and gourmet food within easy reach. But what happened to hot dogs? Luckily, there are still a few drive-ins around, and historian Feliks Banel joins me to talk about those that are gone and those still in the summer-loving business. Thanks for joining us.
Happy to be here. Yeah, drive-ins are cool because they combine so many awesome elements of American culture. You know, cars,
Yep.
Hollywood, junk food, making out with your girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, and just something to do on a crazy Friday or Saturday night. And they're a perfect marker for how America grew, especially after World War II, when everybody's in the suburbs, the baby boom is growing up, and they're just this perfect symbol of all things American.
So that was the heyday, post-World War II, we saw the economic growth.
Yeah, I mean, the first one was in New Jersey in the 1930s. The first one around here was in 1942, but really after World War II is where they really explode. And probably the coolest one around here was the Duwamish, right along the Duwamish River. Beautiful fan-shaped area. Some of the old poplar trees that were grown for the drive-in are still there, where it's now an office park.
Oh.
Yeah, and opened in 1948, and it was just a really popular thing.
Let's get to the ones that are no longer here, that, like you mentioned. But first, let's start with the Puget Park in South Everett.
Yeah, that was right by Interstate 5, really visible. It was there. Actually, one of the later ones, built in 1968, because drive-ins had multiple eras, and they were still going strong, still building new ones in the late 1960s. A lot of them turned into swap meets and things. There was a swap meet there for a long time because you had these big pieces of real estate, often family owned, but then as the economy changed and people got VCRs and cable TV, the idea of this real estate right next to a freeway was more valuable as something that a movie theater you'd only use at night, in the summertime for the most part. So.
Especially here. All right, Valley in Auburn.
Yeah, and the Valley only went away in 2012. 6 screens, huge sprawling complex out there in the Valley near Kent. And they were again built in 1968 originally. You could go there and pick from among 6 movie screens, so 12 movies showing at any one time. I went and visited it not long after it closed. It was like a graveyard. All the old posts were still there, the old speaker posts and some of the concrete foundations of the concession stand and the ticket booth. But it's just this. The fact it lasted till 2012, that's pretty amazing for that part of the Kent Valley, which is booming and where the real estate is very valuable.
Wow, yeah. All right, you mentioned it first, Duwamish in Seattle.
Yeah, a real classic drive-in, post-World War II, beautiful setting right by the river. Lots of people have great memories. It opened in 1948 with a movie starring President Ronald Reagan, well, future President Ronald Reagan, called The Voice of the Turtle. It closed in 1980, right after Reagan had been elected president. There are these weird bookends of Ronald Reagan and the Duwamish Theater. I'm not sure what that means exactly, but it's just a real classic theater in a classic setting. The poplars are still there from where it was. There's an office park there now that Boeing uses, but it's just there's no better spot that epitomizes drive-ins in the Northwest.
Oh my goodness, that is amazing. It's beautiful to see those poplars. All right, well, the good news is there are a few drive-ins left. The Blue Fox Drive-In in Whidbey, which I've actually been to, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's right there in Oak Harbor. It's one of my favorites. They have a great concession stand. They have a place where you can ride go-karts. They sort of combine, a lot of times drive-ins combine other businesses and things, but they're still going strong. They did a big fundraising campaign a couple years ago to buy a new digital projector. That killed a lot of theaters, not just drive-in theaters, just need to switch to digital.
Right.
But the Blue Fox survived, and they seem to thrive. They've got movies there all summer. Lots of time it sells out, but it's a great spot right there on Whidbey Island.
It is so fun that this is a picture of my minivan. I didn't realize how great a minivan is for a drive-in movie theater show.
Yeah.
So that's us in the back of the car. We just kind of sticked it up with the kids and had a blast. They couldn't believe it. They were so excited, and all the differences when you go to the drive-in now. First of all, it was hilarious to see all of us trying to turn off our automatic lights. Okay, so that was the first one. The second one was you don't have to hook the box on the window anymore. You just tune into the station, or it's really interesting. So I'm glad that that's still there.
It's like a special event. I mean, so much movies now with streaming, even with a lot of big multiplex cinemas, it's just, they feel so routine. It feels like you're just going almost to a doctor's appointment or something. With a drive-in, it takes, you have to plan to bring snacks with you or buy snacks there. It's a whole different experience. It feels like a special event, especially if you're sharing with people you care about.
I will say I love the Blue Fox too, because the snacks were not overpriced. We bought a ton of stuff. We didn't spend a fortune. And they have an arcade. Y'all got to go to the Blue Fox. I'm a huge fan. I'm also going to try out the Wheel-In Motor Movie near Port Townsend.
Yep, it's a family-owned operation right outside of town in Port Townsend. It's been there, I think, since the early 1950s. Very rudimentary. It's all surrounded by trees. It feels like a place where a horror movie could happen. That's what I like about it. Like, if you're watching a horror movie there, it's the best of both worlds.
Look at that. How cute is that place?
Isn't that cool?
Howdy, partner. I love that. Okay, we have got to try that one. And then there's a rodeo drive-in near Bremerton.
Yeah, and it also dates to the early 1950s, family run, just kind of a real throwback, a real community treasure. People who live nearby go there like it's a regular theater, not like it's a special event. Like living in Seattle, where I do, you have to make an effort to get to a drive-in theater.
Right.
But in these communities where they still have their drive-ins, it's just a thing, and I envy that. That's very cool.
I envy that too. Do you think that these three that we've talked about will last? I mean, it's gotta be hard.
Yeah, I think the secret is they have to own their own real estate, so nobody's trying to raise the rent or anything.
Okay.
Then you have to have a commitment to almost a lost art.
Yeah.
But it comes back. You know, we have parks around here doing temporary drive-in movie theaters, like at Marymore Park and things like that.
Yeah.
So there is a need for it. Cars are more comfortable than they were. I mean, the cars, I went to the drive-in in the 1970s, the seats were terrible.
Yeah.
Now, modern cars, the seats all recline, you have headrests and everything, and you have great stereo systems to get the audio. So I think it's something that always will have a place for under the right circumstances. Own the real estate and a commitment to something that's just a lost art, a love of motion pictures and American car culture. I hope it never goes away.
I hope it doesn't go away either. What was the first movie you ever saw at a drive-in?
I know as a little kid, I went to a revival of The Sound of Music. The last night at the drive-in over in Kirkland when it shut down, probably 1972, 1973, with my family in our old Mercury station wagon. And I probably fell asleep 10 minutes into the movie.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
What
My
about you?
first movie was Top Gun in the San Fernando Valley.
Wow. I saw Jaws at the old Kenmore Drive-In in 1976. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, real quick about Jaws. They have the old movies they play up here sometimes in Capitol Hill, Lower Queen Anne, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Seeing Jaws on the big screen, even though I've seen it my whole life, it's terrifying.
It is great. What a great movie. Still
What a
stands up.
great
Spielberg's
movie
a genius.
stands
He ought to get into
today. All right.
filmmaking.
Thank you so much, Felix.